Inspired by the Knights Templar, a small order of knights were created in 1202 by the Knights of Albert's household. The main goal was to protect the Church's conquest and forcibly convert the native pagan tribes to Christianity. Like the Templars, their uniforms consisted of white mantles with the red cross and sword, and they lived comparably austere lives, cohabiting in drafty barracks, dining on cabbage and devoting their lives to prayer, but killed infidels in roughly equal measure. Joining their order was also similar to the Templars in that one would have to be of noble birth and take vows of obedience, poverty, and celibacy. The Sword Brothers also had a similar ranking structure, with a ruling council and a military chief, which were all led by the Grand Master. Although they were similar to the Templars when it came to order and discipline, historians still disagree that they were just as honorable. One unknown historian stated that the Sword Brothers were still considered criminals who expected to live on their own without a law or king. This disapproval may be because the order's chief purpose was to ensure the conversion or eradication of Livs and other pagan people and secure the lands under Christian rule. Also, unlike the Templars, the Sword Brothers' tactics in combat were much more ruthless and harsh. They went about their work with bloody efficiency, grinding their way up the Divina Valley mile by mile, bullying or bribing as they went, building hill forts and watchtowers in anticipation of Christian colonists, Cistercian monks and missionary priests following in their wake. By 1206, the order had firmly established itself as the dominant power in the land of the Livs, the Finno-Ugrian people dwelling near the mouths of the Divina Valley and Gauja rivers, and by 1217 it had conquered not only the neighbouring Latvian tribes north of the Divina, but encountered strong resistance from their inhabitants, the Coronians and the Semigalians. The Sword Brothers played a huge role in the Livonian Crusade, a conflict between the Crusaders of Denmark, Sweden, and the Livonian Order, and the pagans. They fought in the majority of battles fought in this war, but mostly at the beginning when the Sword Brothers were at their prime. In one sense, the Livonian Crusade and other expeditions against the Estonians and other pagans was simply a small part of a long push by Danish, German, and other Scandinavian lords to extend their power over non-Christian lands. But in the context of Innocent II's papacy, repeated grants of Crusader status for warriors like Bishop Albert's Livonian Sword Brothers represented something different and more ambitious still. For under Innocent's guidance, crusading became not only a matter of defending the far-flung boundaries between the realms of Christianity and Islam, but as a political tool to coerce secular rulers everywhere to do the Pope's bidding. The Order of Sword Brothers went strong for another 3 decades, but all that changed in 1236 when they were defeated in the Battle of Saul, killing the Grand Master Volquin and destroying the Knights' military might altogether. From the beginning, the Sword Brothers had a reputation as rough-riding thugs, and by 1234, complaints had reached the court of them murdering rivals, desecrating Christian corpses, conniving with Russians and pagans to further personal feuds, killing hundreds of pagan converts, assaulting Cistercian monks, and pillaging church property, preventing unbelievers from taking baptism so that they could be enslaved. This rogue band, which in reality was facing a crisis of recruitment and funding, was eventually broken up after a disastrous expedition against an army of Lithuanians and Semigalian pagans in 1236. The same armies that would kill the Grand Master. Finally, in 1237, the Pope forced the order to break up, and the remaining Sword Brothers merged with the Teutonic Order. Although the Sword Brothers were gone, Livonian knights still continued conquest of Livonia and ruled the region for a period of time, until it was divided in 1561. And that was the story of the Sword Brothers, an army of knights inspired by the Templars, but didn't have the strength or willpower, nor the determination to remain a brotherhood, which is how the Templars survived so long. But the Sword Brothers are an interesting group nonetheless, and will be part of Crusader history. Thank you for watching this video and supporting my love for history, and I'll see you on the next one.